Something is happening here in Charleston. I'm proud that we're showing it. I'm also proud of you for calling it what it is when you say that it's racist terrorism. We can't defeat demons that we can't face. You know, James Baldwin said, not everything that can be faced can be overcome, but nothing can be overcome until it at least is faced. Here they're facing the demons, and they're coming together because they're facing the demons. I think there's a balm in Charleston for America, and I don't have words for it. I'm not usually at a loss for words. I do not have words for what I'm seeing.
Well, it just seems as though when there's Islamic terrorism, we all say we need to understand it, we need to condemn it. This is America's original sin: racism, slavery. We need to call it what it is, and we need to talk about the ideology that leads to an action like this.
Exactly.
This young man, who I'm not going to name, he was a lone wolf in no different way than an ISIS lone wolf.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now what you're seeing are two different ideologies right here on the world stage. You have an ideology of hatred and an ideology of love.
Yeah.
An ideology of blame that is about racial hatred. We have to say that. But we also have an ideology right here behind us of racial reconciliation. You can't appreciate the beauty of what you have behind you right now until you really name the hatred and the evil that happened just right behind us a few days ago. It's the ability to talk about both that gives us the ability to find meaning and to move forward truly together. Those leaders in the country, both parties of all races, who don't want to deal with both, the fact of the racial hatred, but also the potential for racial reconciliation, I think are letting the country down. But people on the street, white people on the street here, are showing more courage and more leadership and more honesty than I've seen in the halls of Washington, D.C. And they need to be given a respect for that, and hopefully we can take this spirit forward.
And we'll be talking more in a little bit after the services. We'll be talking a little bit more about some of the other political issues at play here in terms of guns, in terms of the Confederate flag, in terms of not only racism, but the fear of some politicians of offending racists. Those are issues that we'll talk about in a bit, but I do think it's important to also point out that we have seen Dr. Moore, who is no one's idea of a liberal, come out and say some very strong things about the Confederate flag. Whether you believe them or not, it is not a traditional conservative point of view. And we have seen others talk about the need for racial reconciliation on both sides of the political aisle. But as you say, it's important for us to highlight not just the ugliness and the hatred, but the beauty that we see here in the hearts of the people inside that church, sitting at those pews, their joy, as you put it, and the love. When I remember flying into Denver after Columbine, after that massacre, and you could feel the grief.
Yeah.
You could feel that the city was in mourning and the city was in pain. This town is definitely in mourning and in pain, but it is a different feeling.
Yeah. And I think, again, that has its roots. We don't like to talk about this stuff, but we have to in this context. You know, we had 230 years of enslavement here, and that's where the black church was born. So it was born in grief. It was born in mourning. It was born in trying to find some way to make sense out of something that you can't make sense of. It was born in trying to find some forgiveness and understanding in a context that was unforgiving. And that moral root in the enslavement of African Americans then pushes through into the period of Jim Crow segregation and American apartheid. And you have 100 years of that as the church continues to refine a theology and an ideology that says we are going to love this country despite the rejection. And we're going to love this country into its best self. Now, Dr. King becomes the best expression of that. But he was not alone. You had a whole cadre of African-American preachers, male and female, congregational leaders, church leaders, choir leaders, singers, who brought that idea forward and basically finally completed the process of building a democracy. you didn't really have a true democracy in America until the 1960s, when you finally got everybody with a right to vote, a meaningful right to vote. That process wasn't just, it started in the 1700s, but it was finished by this kind of feeling you feel behind us. The feeling that you feel behind us, black and white together. That was always the song, black and white together, we shall overcome. Well, guess what? Theologically, demons aren't defeated by your grandparents and then you're fine. Demons aren't defeated by your parents and then you're fine. You have to define and defeat those demons in yourself, in your own generation, in your own time, and overcome them. And hopefully, that's what's beginning to happen here in Charleston. There's an opportunity to confront and transcend the demons in our own generation.
Just to bring everyone up to speed, what's going on right now is VIPs in the audience are being recognized. The governor, Nikki Haley, Senator Tim Scott, others. When the sermon begins, we will absolutely stop talking, and we will bring that to you live. Something else that doesn't escape notice, Van Jones, is that we're on Calhoun Street. Calhoun Street. Mother Emanuel AME Church is on a street named after a former vice president of the United States, a founding father, and a man who was an ardent supporter of not just segregation, of slavery.
Yes.
And look, I'm from Philadelphia. We have our Calhouns also.
Yeah.
The Taney Dragons Little League team with Monet Davis, the amazing pitcher, a team I love to root for. Taney, former Chief Supreme Court Justice Taney,
Yep.
wrote the Dred Scott decision
Yeah.
supporting slavery.
Yeah.
This country's founding fathers, as great as so many of them were, had some very ugly beliefs.
But
not all of them, of course, but many of them.
But the remarkable thing about the country is that we start off in this sort of schizophrenia. The founding reality is ugly. The founding reality has enslavement, women can't vote, the Native Americans are being oppressed. But there's this founding dream. So you have Thomas Jefferson,
right,
a slave owner, founding
at the very least.
Right, at the very least, a slave owner, founding reality ugly. But he writes, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all are created equal. So this slave owner with this ugly founding reality authors this beautiful founding dream. And that's what makes America America.
Exactly.
We continue to try to close the gap between that founding reality and its ugliness and the beauty of that founding dream. That's what America is. That's who we are.
Right.
And now when you say we can't deal with the founding reality, we're just going to throw that out. We're going to pretend that we were born perfect and then we just got worse and worse every year. You miss the whole point. We were born imperfect, and Jefferson himself, if you go to the memorial, it says, I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just. He feels heartbroken about the inability to overcome slavery and other birth defects. But guess what? He also says we're all created equal. And so here you have in Jefferson himself this struggle. And we as Americans carry that struggle forward. But here's the reality. We continue to close the gap.
And we continue to strive to be better.
Yeah. Now,
I think that's the point.
And the thing is, the people who say America is only the ugliness, they're wrong.
Right.
But the people who say that there is no ugliness or our grandparents dealt with it, let's move on, they also are wrong. And what you're seeing here in Charleston is the ability to hold both. You can't run from the hatred here because look at the martyr. Look, they just took the yellow. They literally just took the yellow tape down.
Right.
So you can't run from the hatred, but you can't run from the love either.